Welcome back to today's Explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here with us. Today, we're diving into something incredibly close to our hearts, the profound, transformative philosophy of long-term yoga practice that we cultivate every single day at our Pratimoksha studio right here in Dubai. Now, if you've ever kicked off a wellness journey, maybe fueled by that classic New Year's inspiration, only to find your motivation kind of fizzling out after a few months, well, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to unpack the hidden architecture of true commitment. So get comfortable and let's explore what it genuinely means to be the student who stays.
So why do so many students just vanish by June? It's a pattern our founder, Lalitha Vishwanath, notes year after year. January hits and we've got a vibrant room full of eager new faces, right? Everyone is totally ready to conquer the world, or at least, finally touch their toes. But by March, that room is often half full. And by June, the students who are still showing up are entirely different from the ones who started next to them. And it's not because they're inherently more disciplined or they have some magical genetic disposition. It's actually a fundamental shift in what they've decided their practice is for.
And here's where it gets fascinating, because recent 2025 data completely backs up what we see firsthand in the studio. Long-term students, the ones who push past that critical one-year mark, they literally gain measurable neural, cognitive, and physiological changes that the off-and-on practitioners simply never reach. We're talking significantly higher scores in mindfulness, emotional regulation, and interoceptive awareness. And here's the kicker. These differences aren't explained by their personality types or how fit they were on day one. The single defining variable? Time and consistency. That's it.
Really, modern science is just catching up to ancient wisdom here. Patanjali's Yoga Sutras tell us that practice becomes firmly established when attended to for a long time, without interruption and with earnestness. As we often teach at Pratimoksha, these ancient traditions perfectly mirror modern neurological science by reminding us that profound, life-altering results simply don't follow a quick 30-day calendar schedule.
To really wrap our heads around this, we look to a beautiful Sanskrit phrase, Dirgha Kala Nirantarya. It means long duration, unbroken. True growth requires this deep willingness to keep showing up, long past the point where the practice feels new, shiny, and exciting. It's about committing to a process rather than demanding an overnight result.
And that brings us to another cornerstone concept for us at Pratimoksha, abhyasa. People often just translate it as practice, but it carries so much more weight than that. It's sustained, devoted effort directed at the steadiness of the mind. At our studio, we always remind our students that abhyasa asks us to measure our devotion in years, rather than stressing over how many sessions we squeezed into a single week. You just can't inspect the true building blocks of this practice on a month-to-month basis.
Okay, let's actually map this out. Let's look at exactly how a student's relationship with their body and mind evolves as they commit to this journey with us. We've broken this down from month 1 all the way to year 3 and beyond. You'll notice how the milestones completely shift from surface-level physical achievements to these incredibly deep internal psychological shifts.
Section 1. The First Year Foundation, focusing on physicality and invisible growth.
This initial phase is such a fascinating time because the absolute most profound shifts are happening quietly, almost entirely under the surface. They're basically invisible to you while they're actually happening. During these first 12 months, your body is doing immense background work. It naturally learns the sequencing. Your breath and movements start to coordinate without you having to forcefully overthink it. And wonderfully, those hidden postural habits, that texting neck from staring at your phone or that locked jaw during stressful emails, they finally surface into your conscious awareness.
Just look at the contrast in how we handle discomfort. A student in week 2 reacts drastically differently to an uncomfortable posture than a student in year 1, even if the pose itself is just as hard. Lalitha Vishwanath constantly reminds our students about this. The goal is absolutely not the absence of discomfort. That's a myth. The true goal is cultivating a slightly wider, calmer gap between the sensation you feel and your immediate reaction to it. It's a tiny shift, but man, it compounds massively over time.
Moving on to Section 2, the shift to integration and navigating the second year.
Now, this is an incredibly critical phase. Actually, this is the exact point where many students just quietly stop showing up. They don't usually make some grand declaration that they're quitting. Their sessions just get less frequent, then sporadic, and then absent. Why? Well, because the practice starts to feel routine. Those really obvious dramatic physical changes of the first year start to level off, and the mind, which is just constantly craving novelty, mistakes this routine feeling for stagnation. But the students who stay discover something amazing. It isn't stagnation at all. It's deep integration. Your body is finally absorbing what it spent the entire first year learning.
There's a guiding philosophy of Lalitha's that hits the nail on the head here.
The practice does not reward excitement. It rewards return. This is abhyasa in action. Staking it out through the routine phase, when your mind is bored and no longer getting that hit of novelty, that is exactly where the actual, life-altering transformation takes root.
Section 3. The true rewards and what years of practice actually build.
These are the quiet victories, the actual, everyday benefits that our long-term practitioners at our Outmethod Center consistently report after 2 or more years on the mat. Look, most people walk into Pratimoksha just wanting better flexibility or a good night's sleep. But years later, they report a crystal clear sense of what their body needs on any given day. They have drastically less reactivity to predictable stress. They can finally, truly rest without that heavy burden of guilt. They develop this amazing capacity to sit with uncertainty, both on the mat and in life. And they build deep trust in a practice that has survived all of life's crazy disruptions. You simply cannot get those tools in your first month.
Section 4. The Pratimoksha Framework. Structuring your evolution. So, staying committed through years 1, 2, and 3 is incredibly hard without a framework that actively grows with you. A general class at a crowded studio might be great for a beginner, but it totally fails a 2-year student who needs precision and depth. That's exactly why Lalitha Viswanath built a specific step-by-step progression. We guide you from general classes into an individual program designed for needs that outgrow a group setting, and finally into our highly specialized signature programs when you're ready for something more demanding.
Our signature programs, Asana and Beyond, Prana and Beyond, and Dhyana and Beyond, are tailored entirely for the student who has been practicing long enough to understand what real, consistent work requires. These are for practitioners who are fully prepared to dive deeper into the authentic, knowledge-backed layers of yoga, moving way beyond just making the physical shapes.
Listen, Dubai has absolutely no shortage of studios offering a perfectly fine first class. But we are the experts in what happens after year 1. Pratimoksha is built from the ground up for the student who stays. The work you do with us in month 13 looks absolutely nothing like month 1. And that incredible, hard-earned difference, that's the entire point of the journey.
So I'll leave you with this. Are you ready for your practice to become something more? If you've hit that plateau, if you're craving deep integration rather than just another workout trend, we are here for you. Real growth doesn't happen by chasing the next shiny thing. It happens by choosing to stay. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and we absolutely can't wait to welcome you to the mat at Pratimoksha.